Hey guys, Crazy Cat Lady and Mr. Bubbles, and you are watching For Love of the Kitties. Today we're going to show you some of the kitties. So I wanted to talk to you about Mr. And this is Mr. right here. Hey buddy. Hi handsome. So Mr. is, I'm assuming, about three years old. That's the estimated age. Now when we moved here about 4 years ago, he showed up in our area. For some reason, he just started showing up like a year after we moved in, and he looked like a feral cat, because every time we'd open the door or just go outside or look at him, he would dart away like a feral cat would. And then we had more cats outside, and there was this pair. There was Pinky and Mama, and they were maybe like 6 or 7 months old. This older orange fluffy cat had actually had a batch of kittens, and then a neighbor cat had kittens, and this orange cat was taking care of them. Now she was visiting, and one day she stopped showing up. So we're like, what happened to her? But the kittens still kept showing up. She was like showing them, this is where you get food. Because at that point I couldn't stand the fact that, they were coming by, they were skinny. I wanted to do something, so we started feeding them every day. During the winter, I would make sure that they had fresh water at least twice a day. I would go out there, dump out the ice, and then fill it with warm water again. It was quite a pain. And one day, these kittens just crawled up into one of my big planters, and they just laid there, and they just never left. So I felt really bad, and I brought the girl in, because one day she actually let me pet her, and when I was petting her, I felt her belly, and it was poofy. I'm like, okay. So I figured she was pregnant, so we're just gonna help her along, make sure she had her kittens, had a safe place to stay. And the male outside, because there were male and female, he actually got very depressed. He stopped eating. He was just moping on the porch. So I'm like, oh, fine. So, males and females, when a female's pregnant, you kind of want to keep them away from each other, especially when they have the kittens, because the males can be very aggressive to the kittens because they want to mate again. I didn't have the money to actually get them neutered and spayed and stuff right away. So I kept her in like a dog crate. It was a rather large dog crate, and we had a smaller one, and I connected the two, and I put the cat box on one end, and then I made her like a little nest that she rearranged on the other side, and then she had her kittens. So anyway, I'm out of breath. So this cat right here, he actually, sorry, he's kind of antsy. He actually stayed around. And then he disappeared for a while, and then he started showing up again. I'm like, well, why are you back here? At that point, I'd stopped feeding the cats outside because, the only two that were out there were the two babies I brought in. So, this cat stuck around for a while, disappeared, came back. And one day he just let me touch him. He wouldn't run away. And we were grilling outside, and I fed him a piece of my hot dog, and he's like, oh, can I have some more? But he was still very skittish. Even after he let me first pet him, he still kind of like ran away, like, I'm not too sure about this. And then one day, he was attacked by a cat. His ear hold still, his ear right here was bleeding and swollen and pussy. And I'm like, well, I can't do anything about it because I can't even catch him. And then it kind of healed up, and during this time we had another batch of kittens outside from more strays that showed up. And he kind of hung out with them, and he was just kind of like observing. I finally got those cats out from outside, so they're inside cats now. And so anyway, this ear healed up quite a bit. He does have issues with it. I'd love to show the front of you if you'd let me. He does have issues with it. It does itch a lot, and it will forever be flopped down. So we took him to the vet. He was actually neutered Well, I'll tell you why we took him to the vet in the first place, but he got neutered, and after that visit, I looked in his ear because he kept itching his ear. It's really dark in there, so I assume it was like ear mites. I don't know, none of the other cats have had a problem with their ears, so I had talked to the vet again. They said it's probably just really dirty because it's flopped down and he can't clean himself properly. Let's see, can I get a picture of you? Yeah. Mister. So anyway, this is the Mr. to the Mrs. who had kittens outside, so that's why we called him Mister. It's so cute because he's got like a little beauty mark right here. You can see it right there. Anyway, the reason I had to take him to the vet in the first place, which anybody who takes in a stray cat should take him to the vet anyway, but he's not chipped or anything. He was viciously attacked by another male cat outside, and this cat is like humongous. We think he was the cat from across the street. Now this lady, she's had like at least 2 cats, and after her husband had passed, before COVID even happened, he had a different issue, but after he had passed, she just kind of like went into this, I don't know, I would assume a depression, and the cat scratched its way out, or she cut a hole so the cat could go in and out. Anyway, this cat got humongous, and he's been coming over once in a while because he's also a tomcat, and he latched on like right here, right on his face. And I was actually home, and I heard the fight, and by the time I got out there, I was able to chase away the other cat. And this poor guy, the next day he started acting like lethargic and feverish, and he wasn't running away. He'd let me approach him, didn't want me to touch him, and this whole side of his face, right here, got so swollen, like the size of a golf ball, and it was really red. And I'm like, okay, that's right by the head, and it's infected. So I was worried that he was going to get, I forgot what it's called, where the infection goes in the bloodstream. Anyway, I had taken him in, and that's when they neutered him. And they did a procedure here, and I had to put a wet cloth on it 2 to 3 times a day. Now, it's been a while. This thing is healed up on his neck. I can't really show it because he's not cooperating. But his fur will never grow back here. He did scratch it quite a bit. But when you see a wound like that and you put the wet cloth on there, it helps keep it drained. So the infection can like seep out. Like when we got him back, it was just dripping. It was gross. But you can see he's so much better now. He loves lovin's. When we were at the vet office, he just crawled into me. They had him just sit on the scale for a bit, and he just wanted me. It was so cute. And then he'd dart over by the trash can like, wait, this isn't right. But you can see he's mostly adapted to indoor life. After we brought him home, we kept him in a crate, like a large crate with, cat box, food and water, and a blanket. He did use the cat box. Mostly. We gave him one of our old pillows, and he started peeing on it, and of course that was like really nasty, so I yanked everything out of there, and I sprayed down the floor and all the other stuff. Then one day I just grabbed some stuff from an old cat box. Well, I mean, not an old one, but like a used one, and he's been going in there ever since. That scent really helped him learn, like, okay, this is where I go, and we haven't had an accident since. So, not all cats are easy like that. When we brought in our first strays, like, they were literally, I think it was just a couple generations of, ferals or strays, and then they've had kittens that were born kind of like feral-ish. And anyway, when we brought them in, they went, like, all over the place, and I was so frustrated because I had to clean every single day. I mean, it was so disgusting. I'm like, how do I get these cats to use a cat box? I didn't think of using like the scent of another cat box right away. Some people say you can put leaf litter or dirt in a cat box and gradually transfer to cat litter that you want to use. Some people have an easier time using what's it called? Shavings, like bedding shavings that you use for like hamsters and horses. Right now that's kind of what we're using because I'm still waiting for an important check. The shavings, they're cheaper. They do hold the scent. You have to sit there and shake the scooper quite a bit just to get the shavings down, unless you just want to like scoop it all out. You can obviously tell like the wet stuff because it doesn't completely clump, but it kind of holds together well enough that you can see, okay, I need to work on this area. It's really a pain. And I really wanted to switch to the pellets, like the pine pellets and stuff, but they're more expensive, and I think like with the amount of cats we have, it would just stay too wet and they would break apart easily. Yeah, I'm really happy that we saved Mister. We had planned on letting him go because he just wanted to be outdoors. We did bring him in a couple of times previous to his accident or attack or whatever, and he just sat by the door meowing. And I felt bad that he had to be like dragged out of his environment, what he called a home. But once we had him in and he started adapting to like life, we kept him in the cage for like a month, but we'd let him out. He'd like literally crawl in my lap and just stay there, and my legs would like go to sleep for hours because he didn't want to go anywhere. He just wanted like the comfort. But I would sit just like this, cross-legged, for a couple of hours every single day. But he's adapted really nicely, and he hasn't attacked any of the kittens or anything like that. He just wants lovin's and to be left alone. So we kind of felt bad that he wanted to finally like be an indoor cat and to have him like be thrown back outside. Like, where is he going to get his next meal? Where is he going to like sleep during the winter? Because we do get down to freezing sometimes. It's generally like 20 to 30 degrees during our winters, but he must find a place out there because he used to show up just like every once in a while, like once or twice a day to feed, unless it was super cold or rainy or wet, then we wouldn't see him at all. So I don't know where he would go, but he just loves being inside, don't you? Hi, baby. He gives me kisses and nuzzles, and he lets me kiss his face. He's purring right now. You can't really hear it. Yeah, misters. Alright, so this is... Get her in here. The missus. That black cat back there. We call her Mama. She's Mama number 2. And we had a little accident right here. Anyway, it's stained, but, you know, whatever. We've had this carpet for a long time. I haven't actually shampooed it. It's pretty nasty, but... So, she had a set of kittens, a litter of kittens. She had, let's see, 4. And then, I guess I can share a picture of one of her kittens. And her kitten had, well, she's not a kitten anymore, but she had kittens. And this is the result of that. It's one of my flip-flops. Why is it flashing? Camera's flashing. Okay, anyway. Now this here is Baby. Hi. Hi, baby girl. Now, she's kind of like a medium hair kitten. And she wags her tail like a doggy. You see that? It's funny. This one got very sick. We lost one of the kittens, actually, after like 5 weeks of life. I don't know if it's like the genes or what, but this one got very, very sick, and she stopped eating, and she was smaller than the runt who was growing, and it was pretty pathetic to see. So every day before I went to work, every day when I came home from work, I'd have 2 shifts during the day, and then the final time when I came home from work, I would feed her canned food, like by hand. And she would sit there, like I had to grind it up, like, you know, the pate. I had to put like a little bit of water in there and mix it up with a spoon and just get it really, really, really tiny. And she would lick it up. She developed a lot slower than the other kittens. When I explained it to somebody who was like a cat person, they're like, she's probably the runt. Well, she actually wasn't. She kind of turned out to be, but she's smaller than the other kittens right now that are her age. It was just really great seeing her finally pounce around and be playful, because before she just wanted me to hold her 24/7. I mean, I couldn't do that obviously, but I just love her eyes. Hey, baby. Her name is Savior. Her eyes, this is the wrong kind of light for this, but they're kind of like yellowish, but in certain light they're blue, and it's just really cool to see. Now, see, here's Mama again. I might have a couple pictures I can post of her, but she kind of took to us maybe a year after she started showing up. She just like showed up out of the blue, and she just like didn't go away, and she let us pet her. And then when she had her first litter of kittens, she just kind of like took to me, and she just wanted lovin's. And I think that's like when a cat is pregnant, a female cat is pregnant, they will turn to a human. Like I've seen them ask for help, just be a stray and then ask for help by sitting on somebody's doorstep asking to be fed or just to be let in for a little bit, but she has warmed up every single time she's had a litter. That's kind of happened with our neighbor's cat too. Like, our neighbor's cat didn't know us, and she turned out to be pregnant, and she let me pet her, which is kind of weird. But hi baby, hi baby. Yeah, so when I wake up in the morning to go to work, I sit there for like 10-15 minutes because I don't want to get up, and she will crawl up in my face like, okay, it's cuddle time, let's go back to bed. And then I feel bad because she just crawled up there, and then I'm like, okay, I gotta get up before I fall asleep. She's so cute. Hey. What a cutie pie. Can I see your eyes? There they are. Kind of bluish green, yellow. They're almost hazel. Such a pretty girl. Now, she is about 6 months old. She's got these chubby little feet, and you can see some of the fur between her toes. Let's see. Her second set of kittens are also gray and white, which are also 6 months old. See, Mama had a litter March 7th of this year, and her daughter had a litter March 17th, so it was 10 days apart. And I kind of missed both births, but that's okay. When she had her litter, it was under our dresser. Well, not directly under, it was like more by the side of it, and I had a lot of stuff to clean up after that. But it was kind of funny because I knew she was pregnant, and I had to, well, when we brought her in, I found out she was pregnant. We had a Chewy box, and I gave her a blanket, and I cut a hole in the side. I can show you a picture after the kittens were born, but after a while, after the 10 days and French Fry gave birth, I had this tool cart, and on the very bottom I had just stuff there, and she just hung out there a lot, and I'm just thinking, okay, that's where she's gonna choose her spot. So I cleared it out. I put a blanket under there after I cleaned the bottom of it, and of course that's where she had her kittens. So Mama took notice to that, and I didn't know how she was going to react, but after maybe like a week and a half after she had given birth, she started dragging her kittens over to the tool cart where French Fry had her kittens. And I was actually at work, but Mr. Bubbles saw it, and he saw her pick one of the kittens up, and she dropped it, and then she went to go get another kitten. She put him in the tool cart with French Fry, and she just left the kitten there. Like, why? So anyway, I might show another picture of that when they're all cuddling together. Fuse, come here. Oh, meow. Hi, buddy. So, he greets me by the door when I come home from work. He'll sit up on the recliner and just wait. They're kind of getting off this thing now, but every time I leave, I go through the kitchen and everything. We have a door from our living room to the kitchen, which I really like. Every time I go out there, they would all sit by the door and just wait for me. So when I come in the door, they're like all there. And it's like, it's frustrating because sometimes I trip over them. Yeah. I'm gonna show like a really good picture of him when you can get a clear shot of his face and everything like that, but he's purring. He's a good boy. Hi, baby. I wish more of the kittens would come over here so I could show you guys because they're so cute. Fuse. Oh my. Oh, and this is another cat right here. This is Ambush. Now, he looks... Oops, that was my phone. He looks a lot but like Bear. The story behind him is we were actually just walking to the gas station several blocks away, and we met these people outside. And there was this kitten there. And they just kept him outside on this little fluffy pillow that you get from like the Dollar General or something. It's one of those cheap ones. And he always had like an empty bowl. So we actually went to this gas station. The lady's like, oh yeah, I live there. So one day we were walking by again, and she was outside, and, you know, we get to talking. She said, yeah, this is my daughter's cat, and he'd follow her to the bus stop and all this other stuff. And the story turned out was that when he was a little kitten, maybe like 4 or 5 months old, he was actually stuck in a tree. And somebody, one of those people, actually got him out of the tree. And they brought him home, and he just kind of like hung out ever since on the porch. And I just felt so bad for it. And we were joking about taking the cat, you know, because he was so cute. And well, anyway, the dad showed up, and he was going through the front house, you know, so he was walking up on the porch, and the cat wanted to go inside. And this guy, he like kicked this cat in the face. And after another visit, we learned that they weren't cat people at all. They just had it for their daughter. And it was really frustrating for us because we love cats. Like, I love cats. They're my babies. And then they were talking about how they wanted to get rid of it because they were moving. And we're like, we would take it. And of course, the daughter, she was there. She was maybe like 10 at most. And she's like, yeah, I suppose. I mean, his name was actually Lucky because he was lucky he didn't get killed. And she agreed to it because the parents were talking about, you know, they can't afford the vet and it's just too much work and blah, blah, blah. So anyway, we said, hey, yeah, we'll take the cat. You know, because otherwise, literally, they were just going to leave the cat there outside to fend for itself again. And that was heartbreaking to us, so we had to take the cat. So we brought him home. We already had cats, and I went out and got him a new cat box and some cat litter, and he never wanted it outside again. Of course, he was unneutered, and he loved Mr. Bubbles a lot. So, well, out of like a lot of cats, that's one of them that loves Mr. Bubbles. But he's still my baby too. We had another male during this time when we had brought the other cat in. The male that we had, we didn't know that because they were getting along. We didn't know that they were going to have a fight. And this is another thing I learned. Males will fight regardless. You turn your back and they're getting along. You turn your back again, they're going at it, like ready to kill. So one day he went at it with another male cat, and he was a little bit bigger than him. And I got in the way because I didn't want anybody getting hurt. And Ambush latched on. Like, I was holding him right here. And then I had him scruffed, and I was holding my other hand right here. He turned around and nabbed me. He bit me, like he latched on and he was like ripping at my skin. And he was using his hind legs and going like that. He scratched me really good. He bit me really good. I've been bitten by cats before, and I've had mild cases of cellulitis. And I never had to like go to the hospital or anything, because cellulitis is pretty much an infection of the skin. So you're going to see the bite wound, and it's going to look deep, and then it's going to start seeping. And what's going to happen after that is your skin gets infected. It's not just, there's an infection under your skin or in the hole. Your skin is literally infected, and it starts swelling up. And you can get very sick from it. And I was aware of this before, and all my other cases of cellulitis have gone away, and I've only had 3 cases. 2 of the cases went away. And I would be dripping blood, literally, from these things. I tried saving a cat once. I guess she didn't want to be saved. It was our neighbor's cat, and she was mild-mannered. But I picked her up, and she did okay, and then the owner started coming because I wanted her to have her owner, and she just ripped into me and then went back up on their fence. I'm like, she's over there. And he was able to get her. But Ambush, on the other hand, when he latched on, he got me really deep. And I think I didn't go to the hospital for like 3 days. And I felt very, very sick. And I was kind of like completely out of it. So I went to the hospital, and they gave me a double dose of antibiotics. And they said you should have came in the first day. So if you ever get a cat bite, what happens, cats, they have these teeth that carry bacteria, and it's pretty much like a venom, and they inject it into you. I mean, it's not something like a snake does. It's just there. So when they bite you, it gets into your skin, and it causes cellulitis. And it's very hot and tender, and you should really get it taken care of right away, regardless of how you're feeling when you first get bit or the day after. You need to go in and get it taken care of. So anyway, after that, we had to take Ambush in for another incident for an incident. I don't know what happened, but he was like bitten right here or something, because there was like a circle on his neck, and it looked matted down, like he got into something or whatever, and I didn't think anything of it. And then he just started turning to me for love and reassurance, and I was like, this is weird. Because, I mean, I knew he loved me, and he would let me pet him, but I'm like, it was very unusual for him to just come to me and just want to lay on my lap. So I took a closer look, and I noticed there was like this gaping hole in his neck, and I just thought it was like matted down, but it was like in his skin. So I was like, oh, this is weird. So we had to take him in to the vet, and it's not a vet I would actually go back to, but they had to put him to, well, they gave him an anesthetic. There we go. Cut all that dead skin off on his neck, and that area will never grow fur again, but at least he's better now. And then we got him neutered, and then he just wanted daddy, so we might have a picture of him like that, just chilling on daddy's lap, kind of like, love me. So we haven't had an incident since. Now, Ambush, one thing I noticed about certain cats is it's fight or flight. I mean, that's pretty much the basis for anybody. But Ambush, he would actually challenge me. Like, he would come up and nab me with his claws and his teeth. And it wasn't in a playful manner. And ouch. What happens? Cats, they have these... Hey guys, so the ending to our Mr. video had disappeared. I don't know what happened to it. So this is going to be our ending for now. We just wanted to show you a couple of kittens here. Now, there are 5 of them. And this one is Cuddlebug, because she's the cuddliest of them all. She will crawl up when I'm sleeping and just cuddle right by my face. She also gives me kisses, so she's very, very sweet. And this one is Mocha Bean. We just call her Mocha. I love mocha in my coffee, and she reminds me of coffee, so I just call her Mocha Bean. But she's starting to get really sweet, and I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think she's going to be a long-haired kitty or a medium-haired or a short hair? They were born January 27th of this year. So they're already, I don't know, a month old or something. But you can see here this little fluffy stuff. I know that kittens are kind of hard to judge when it comes to fur and everything, but she is covered with tiny little furs. You see the second row of fur here? Now, this one right here, she doesn't have that. She's really soft, but she doesn't have all those spare furs. Now, her mom is kind of a medium hair cat. You can see all the way back here, she's just pure fuzz. So anyway, why don't you drop a comment and tell us what you think.